Welcome back to DohMance Dawn and a happy winter holiday season to you. I'm Luke, he, him, sometimes they, them, and I'm joined by my co host.
It's I, Janine, for the holidays and all of the other days. Pronouns are she, they, and we have another person who's also here.
Hi, my name is he, him, and I bring you some Hanukkah blessings and some fair trade guilt if they come in the mail in time, Luke.
Yes, hello, David. You just gave your pronouns as your name, which
Oh,
I guess
yes.
that's a
My
pro
pronouns are
move.
David. Sorry, they are he, him.
uh, Welcome aboard. I feel like based on the rules that we've had for guests where you need to be unfamiliar with One Piece, people might be
Whoops.
surprised that you're on this one, but specifically, you are unfamiliar with these episodes.
Yes, I skipped all the filler except for G8, which is probably one of the best works of filler of all time. And I do not regret skipping this arc when I was watching it with my girlfriend.
Blasphemy. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, what
already
is?
putting Goat Island on blast.
Yeah. Well, what is your experience with The Simpsons?
So I love The Simpsons. I was a hardcore fan until the quality just dropped. So I watched every episode up till probably season 15 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, every once in a while, I'll definitely watch a good episode or watch one of the classics. I was watching Marge vs. Monorail a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and also sometimes I'll just check and say like, what are the new Simpsons episodes that are good? And you can take if you take the last 10 years of The Simpsons, you can make about one good season. It seems like out of the episodes.
Last season was really good in general.
Mm,
Like overall, you had a lot more hits than misses. This one had the best Halloween special in like 2 decades. That was the
really?
one with the Death Note. Yeah.
I heard about that. They had a guest animator for that, I think.
Mm-hmm. The person who's been doing like uh Simpsons anime fan art for years, and then it
Hmm.
was the studio that did the Death Note anime that animated it,
Yeah.
which like a wild thing, and it's also different than the Death Note comic version that they did.
Hmm. Now, let me say this then, Luke. In
Mhm.
honor of you, what is a Simpsons episode in the last 5 years you think I should go watch after this recording? And I'll let you know what I thought.
Oh, see, now you're putting me on the spot here.
You're
I
like, I'm not
mean,
here to talk about The Simpsons.
let's see.
Do you
Oh,
want me to
he's
start listing
researching
off
it.
episodes and just see what comes to
I
mind?
honestly thought Luke was going to just snap, be like, here's the best episode that's happened in the last 5 years when he was literally just talking up some recent Simpsons episodes. You
Oh no,
know?
the deadliest thing about Luke is that he has to think about it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that.
I am a careful contemplator,
I love it.
and I like to think before I leap. You know, there's an art to everything that you're going to be doing. So yeah, Treehouse of Horror 33 was really good.
Okay.
That was the one from the most recent season. If you want a normal episode, that was maybe the best regular episode that we've had this season. Top Goon was really solid. That was the most recent one. That is one where Bart once again is on a hockey team.
Hmm.
Nelson gets brought on to be his goon, and Mo is the coach. But Nelson starts to have complicated emotions because he knows he's supposed to protect Bart, but also Mo is the only person who's nice to him. And also, the sub story is Homer hates having to drive Bart to hockey all the time, especially because they keep winning.
That does sound fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will watch those two, and I will let you know, Luke, in our super top secret private chat what I thought of it. Now, I'll post in the group chat. Janine, you would also like to hear my thoughts on Luke's recommendations.
Right, definitely.
And Davey, how did you get
Yes.
into One Piece?
I just read it in Shonen Jump as a kid, and then I just kept reading it. I remember, I actually do remember it was Enies Lobby when I had actually caught up to the manga. So
Ooh,
I have been reading One Piece for a very, very long time.
fair. Yeah, I feel like the first time that I got caught up, because I got into it through the Four Kids anime,
Hmm.
and like I caught up, I think, in Impel Down. These words mean nothing to Janine, but
That's okay.
Annie's
Yeah, I
lobby is going to destroy you, Janine. Next year, you will be destroyed.
Oh man, remember when
wow,
Squib
these
totally
were
beefed it?
Hmm. Oh, Annie's lobby is going to be when Mary finally dies, and you'll get to eat your words, Janine.
Why would you spoil that?
Oh, because I've told Janine that all the times that she has said she looks forward to Mary dying. You know, Mary, the butler for what's her face? Usopp's friend. I'm totally blanking on her name right now.
I know who you're talking about though.
Yep.
the only
Uh,
name that I remember is Samantha Stanky because I think we had her as Samantha Stanky.
yes, that would be Kaya, who is our Samantha Stanky.
Oh, well that's nice.
Yeah, no, that's when Mary's going to die, and you'll get to rue all the words as I string together all the clips of you
Long
saying you look.
overdue, pal. It's long overdue.
Oh, it's going to be great. Um, yeah, so we've got good stuff, but before that, uh, I made some fuck ups last week, so this is our. Oh, that's the theme button. I forgot. I've made some mints in the last episode, and I guess technically you could count me hitting the theme song button that we have on as another one.
I
Uh,
will.
okay. Kunafa was the name of the dish that Sanji had asked about that I couldn't remember. To make the curry, the tomatoes were boiled, not poached, like I had said. I added a note in already about Ace of Base into the past episode. That way, we didn't fully spread more misinformation about Ace of Base. And then, just as a thing that we generally didn't mention or that I ran across, is the conspiracy about Pell's death, where there is a fan theory that because the chapter happened so soon after 9/11, that Oda didn't kill Pell because having an explosion and tied to towers could have been seen as being in poor taste, which is completely just a fan theory, but I can kind of accept that as a potential reason why Pell didn't die.
I mean, we did see a Simpsons episode go off the air for the longest time because of 9/11, so it's in the realm of possibility.
Was that
Hmm.
Homer versus New York?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense because then the Twin Towers play a very large part in that episode.
Well, and there's the part in One Piece where a second Pell hits the Twin Towers.
Jeez. There's my favorite is I love how it's like it's like the Muppets Christmas Carol where it's like if Kermit was never born, 9/11 wouldn't have happened because you can see the Twin Towers in a shot that's set in 2002.
Oh, yeah. So that was not a Muppet Christmas Carol, because a Muppet Christmas Carol is the great musical where Gonzo is Charles Dickens. You're
Mhm.
thinking about the Muppets where they do It's a Wonderful Life that also has the cast of the Scrubs.
Ah,
That that's the first time I'm hearing that existed, though.
yeah.
That one it's a very merry Muppet Christmas movie, and that's one where it's like from that yeah, it's 2002. It was the era where it's like, oh yeah, this was the point where they were doing their first kind of for TV divorced from the rest of the Jim Henson stuff Muppets film. It's a weird one. It's too pop culture heavy, and it's got Pepe the King Prawn, who if I remember, Janine, you're really a big fan of Pepe the King Prawn, or
Who isn't,
or
really?
I'm kind of hit or miss on him, but I feel like that's something that's come up in the show before.
Extra points if anybody could be able to point that out for us. I don't know, and I don't really.
It's irrelevant, because we are here to discuss One Piece episodes 136 through 138 that originally aired December 8th through the 22nd of the year 2002 in Japan. And we had two Simpsons episodes that aired during that period. There was The Great Louse Detective, where Sideshow Bob helps Homer track down the man trying to kill him, which was ultimately Frank Grimes Jr., and then Special Edna, where Edna is less important than Skinner's mom, so she decides to work with Bart, who ends up getting her nominated as Teacher of the Year. Y'all have any memories of those?
I mean, Homer's Enemy is just a fantastic episode.
But we're talking about his son because that's
Ah, crap! You're right. I forgot
Yeah.
that Simpsons got to that. It was okay. those were episodes.
Yeah. Special Edna had Epcot jokes. Who
I
doesn't
actually went
love
to Epcot
milking
this
them?
year. It was not. It was a complete shit show.
Because
Oh, it was overcrowded. It was like an hour and a half wait to pretty much do everything. Like to get food. It was crazy because they weren't running all the registers and stuff. It was just not a good time.
no, that sounds awful.
Yes.
New characters who we have include Frank Grimes Jr., George Foreman, Little Richard, Osama bin Laden, Julio Estudiante, and Uncle Slam.
I can already feel the decrease in the quality of the episodes just by the names of those characters.
I mean, Osama bin Laden and Uncle Slam are parody wrestling characters, but those will be relevant soon enough.
I thought you were going to say what part of Epcot they would enjoy the most.
What part of Epcot would they enjoy the most?
You know what? You'll have to find out on our Patreon when we do a 3-hour discussion of what parts of Epcot each character we've talked about would enjoy.
All right, hit us up for that, Boco. You just need to subscribe to the Luke Hare Patreon. But yeah, we covered 3 episodes this week. They include Zenny of the Goat Island and the Pirate Ship in the Mountains.
How's that for profit? Moneylender Zenny's ambition.
Where's the island's treasure lies? Zenny Pirates full charge. And then are we supposed to say I'm going to be King of the Pirates as well, or do we do that later? Because when I watched it, that was also a part of it.
We don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to be King of the Pirates?
One day, and apparently so is frick, what's his name? So is Zenny, despite the fact that that title didn't exist when he was a child. Which great. It's crazy how filler sometimes has continuity issues.
It's also weird how filler sometimes establishes things like how Luffy can talk to dragons.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Straw Hats are pursued by Chief Petty Officer Minchie and a flotilla of marine ships. They end up slipping through some reefs, and Minchie just lets them escape. And the crew finds their way to an island, and they're all hungry, so Usopp, Luffy, and Sanji all chase after a little goat. Nami stops them, and that is when a herd of goats attacks them. Chopper comes in handy. He's able to explain that they're ordered to fight, and he ends up scaring the goats. And Zenny, who falls out of a tree, refuses to trust the pirates and then ends up fainting from all the stress. I love Zenny. Zenny just being this old hobo man living on this island. Got some wild hair.
Yeah, I think he had a fun design. And at least, like, after seeing a bunch of really badass old men, it was nice having a change of pace where it was an old person that actually acted like an old person.
I mean, he also gets awesome moments in the episodes.
Yeah, but it's not like he is. You say he's 80, but he's physically 20, like you see with Silvers or frick. What's Chopper's mom's name?
Dr. Kureha?
Yeah, where she's 110, she acts like she's 20. You
I
know?
think Dr. Crayon's just going to come into your house and kick your ass now.
Yeah, I'd let her. She could definitely
Fair.
take me in a fight.
Is
And I
she a
really hope
guild?
Jamie Lee Curtis plays her in the One Piece show.
I hope that it actually lasts
Same.
long enough.
I don't think it's going to be honest.
Oh.
I have no idea how it's going to work out because Netflix is putting so much hope into that show. Like the production design looks fascinating, sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for bad. I have no idea how it's going to work out, but it at least should be better than Cowboy Bebop because it does look like they're trying to do a one-to-one translation to a
Yeah.
point and then kind of missing it.
So fingers crossed.
So Chopper works to help Zenny, and the ghosts lead him back to Zenny's house. And he's like, "Hey, crew, you owe me 50 million berries." Nami argues against it, and the crew decides to like help him enough with the chores. And we find out that Zenny washed up on the island 20 years ago, and he has been the only human here. He's a dick and just keeps requiring them to do more work. And we just get a great Zoro moment then where he goes out to look for food, finds a pirate ship, ends up wandering back to the crew, who then immediately finds the pirate ship because Zoro always gets lost. And they figure out that Zenny made the ship himself. Nami starts looking for his treasure because she's pretty sure that he was a pirate based on all the nice stuff that he has, and they aren't able to find anything at that point. It's like a nice slow filler arc,
Mm-hmm. Which you
especially
needed after Alabasta.
and after like 5 one-shot filler episodes.
Yeah.
And so at the base, Menchie is dressed down by Captain Moore for letting them go, but Menchie knows that the island that the Straw Hats went to is unmarked. And he also somehow figured out that the Straw Hats were the ones who took down Crocodile and is at least smart enough to not want to fight them, which I appreciate. Like, they don't really explain too much why, except that I guess Menchie is just kind of a conspiracy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so Chopper figures out that Zinni is going to die in 3 days and wants to stay with him, and so the crew decides to help him out for the last few days of his life, while Minchie is planning to get to Zenny's treasure. And the pirates even end up helping Zenny with his ship. He calls it his coffin. And while this is all going on, Minchie gets his permission to take down the pirates and run his own plan. And then Zenny doesn't die. It's a Hanukkah miracle.
Yeah, well, no one dies in One Piece, as we've seen.
You say that, but what about the Sumigiri guards?
They didn't matter. It was a flashback. You just didn't realize.
What about Belmir?
That was actually a flashback. You can die in flashbacks. That's the rule. After Pell didn't die, you know people are not dying in One Piece.
That's because there was a second Pell. That's how
Jet fuel can't melt Pell beams.
Oh. And so yeah, the crew has basically let more than 3 days pass, and they want to leave, but it turns out that Nami ended up betting the ship in a game, and so the crew needs to work for Zenny for another 10 years. And Luffy is just like, yeah, we can't cheat this old man because that's not what we're going to do. And then Robin immediately just wins all of it back in a single chess match against Zenny.
Yeah, which was definitely not a character moment for Luffy, because Luffy clearly would not have done that. As you literally see in Barate. And
I mean, he argued down that he wanted to work for less time, but he was still going to work his entire sentence.
Yeah, but Luffy wasn't like... But Luffy refused to work the 5 years or whatever it was.
No, he ends up making the deal with Zeph to be like, hey, if I stop them, can I leave? And Zeph's kind of like, yeah, because I also need you to take Sanji and also to stop breaking stuff.
Yeah, and then as we talked about, though, I feel like all these filler arcs have the what to do with Robin problem, because we don't know enough about Robin at this point to do much with her.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that her ability is extremely overpowered.
Yeah. Like, she could murder pretty much anyone without much of a problem if she needed to, from
Yeah.
what we've seen so far.
She did say her specialty was assassination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Has Robin straight up killed anyone on screen?
Not at this point. I mean, she tried to kill Crocodile,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think we've seen anyone murdered yet who has mattered.
Mm-hmm.
So Zenny ends up revealing his past, that he was a moneylender to pirates, and he had to fight the pirates who wouldn't pay him back otherwise. And he always wanted the money to live his dream, which was going and becoming a pirate himself. Minchie, meanwhile, has come to steal Zenny's treasure, and he plans to lure the Straw Hats into Captain Moore and the Armada. And Zenny confesses that he doesn't think his dream is going to be able to come true at this point. And that is when Minchie arrives, and he's like, "Hey, I don't want to have a fight. I just want this treasure. You all should leave now before the Marines get you." But Zenny and Robin, who hung back at Zenny's ship, see that the Marines have a trap for the pirates, and so now he gets suspicious and gets Minchie to reveal that he just wants Zenny's treasure for himself. In that time, the fog fades, they see the fleet, and half the crew are caught by the Marines. So Zenny ends up pulling the ship down the mountain that it's on with the goats, and as they roll it down, it disrupts the Marines and hits the ocean. And Minchie's men want to contact Moore, and he shoots at his own men to prevent them from calling. And I like that Minchie is just a total piece of shit, but
Right?
what he does is, it makes sense.
And yet no one is actually shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because
They were like, no, we can't shoot any of these goats.
Also, every time I say his name, my mind just goes to, he's getting all up in my Minchies. Or I think about Minchies, the frozen yogurt chain, which is spelled differently, but why not get some goats on it? So Zenny knows what Minchie is up to and challenges him to steal the treasure. And Luffy does not understand this challenge at all and grabs Zenny's ship and swings it into the Marine ship, which is just beautiful, and Luffy being completely overpowered. Or too powerful, I should say. Because, like, he swings that thing like it has no weight.
I don't think he's done anything like this before, and I doubt that it's going to happen since. So I think it's like just one of those weird moments, like that time that you got really weird about Zoro being able to cut something he wasn't supposed to yet.
Yeah.
Zoro couldn't cut steel beams.
Yes, he couldn't. Well, now he can.
Yeah, now he can, because he fought Mr. One.
Yes. And Mr. One, the catalyst of the Zoro is racist meme.
What?
You don't know about that?
No.
Oh, you gotta look that up. Someone posted in Reddit, and it was like a top shit post in our One Piece about how Zoro, every single time, Zoro fights an opponent that has dark skin. Like Miss Monday, Mr. One, Wano Spoilers. They all, like, if a bad guy has someone on their team with a dark complexion, Zoro fights them.
Ooh.
Wild? I'll have to look out for that.
And you know what they say, if Zoro lived in real life, what his dream job would be, what he would be doing?
Wasn't it a cop?
He'd be a cop, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Zoro is racist. This was the greatest One Piece shitpost of all time.
Oh.
So let's see. Yeah, first opponent, he fights the guy who is based on Michael Jackson, Miss Monday. He fights the booger guy. And then he fights the dark-skinned guy on us, the one dark-skinned person on Skypiea.
Well, and I guess he fights Hachi, who has natty hair in a way. And large lips.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's such a stupid theory, but it actually makes
Right.
it actually lines up really well.
It's it's one of those.
I feel
Okay,
like it
but
says something about something, but I don't know enough about anything to say it.
You're like, I don't know
okay, but
enough about
it falls apart
racism,
at Annie's. It falls apart at Annie's lobby.
but it comes back in Wano really strong.
I feel like it. I feel like it would have to do more with like the black coded characters are generally brute force and strength more than anything else, and that's what Zoro is.
Like I said, it sounds like it's saying something like that. Like there's something about something going on, but I don't know about anything to say it.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah, but that's just a theory.
So uh the goats just completely overpower all the Marines on the ship, and the rest of the Straw Hats are coming over to help in the Going Merry, and they end up hitting Zoro on the way over, who was swimming across, which is just great. Uh and Moore, meanwhile, is waiting to get news back from what's going on with Menchi. Zenny, being an old guy, starts to have like a heart attack, and Menchi corners him. And that's when Moore finds out what Menchi is up to, and Zenny reveals that he is out of money, and he goes to and Minchie goes to kill him. Is stopped by Nico Robin along with the goats then and the Straw Hats, and Zenny ends up winning. And Nami asks Zenny about what happened to his treasure, and he reveals that he cashed all the treasure out into paper money. But then when he landed on the island after a terrible storm, I believe it was, the goats ate all the money and became his friends, and so they are his treasure. And that's why you invest in cryptocurrency.
Oh my god!
That's what Goat Island really is about. You can't trust fiat currency because goats will eat it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Goat Island. That's where you're gonna have your vacation, right? Because you're just such a goat.
I mean, that's the name of that cryptocurrency island that they bought.
Oh my god! There's like 100% possibility that there's something called goat coin already there.
Oh yeah, goated coin.
Zenny is just going to spend the rest of his life minting goat coin.
Zenny sounds like a thing that does NFTs.
I mean, Zenny is also the name of Japanese coin. So yeah, Minchi is defeated, uh, and he's like, "Hey, the Marines are still waiting to catch you." So Luffy just yeets him back to the fleet. Captain Moore demotes Minchi and arrests him. And he's like, "Hey, I only want to capture the Straw Hats, so Zenny, you can just go off and do whatever you want to do here." So Zenny sails off to start his pirate dream with a bunch of goats, and the Straw Hats move into the fog and the rocks. The Marines chase after them, and the entire fleet crashes moments later. And the crew's like, "We'll see you later, Zenny." And Zenny is going to come back, damn it. Zenny has crossed. I mean, Zenny was raised on the Grand Line. Zenny took one of the other 7 paths.
Zenny will return. It says in the credits.
I I would love to see Zenny just come back. Like, it would be great if they were just like, "Hey, we need some time after Wano, so let's just check in on all the filler characters."
I don't know what
Well,
filler characters have actually shown up multiple times besides the G8 guys.
I don't think any of them really have, like, even in background stuff.
Yeah. Not that they needed to.
No, but I mean, they could. No one would see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I do like when Zenny is just fighting on the marine ship. He roller skates on an abacus.
That was actually my favorite part.
It's rad as hell. Ah,
Is the
beautiful.
cover art going to be him roller skating on Abacus?
I think it might. Like, it is such a great shot. It is a defining moment for Zenny. This old man roller skates on the abacus. So we have 3 characters to match. Janine, you said you have 4 suggestions for everyone?
I think I might actually have more for this character, but
Oh,
they're
good. Maybe I should have fought it more. I only fought it like 1 or 2.
You don't need, like, if you got at least 1 for everyone, that's like the bare minimum that I ask, because it's going to be crazy times here.
yes. During this discussion, you also can be able to advocate for one thing or another, or that's on somebody else's list, or bring up another character that just comes to your mind because we said a character that was related to them in one of our suggestions.
It's all about feeling the spirit of the situation. But
Pere, 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 pere. Pere, 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 pere.
the first character who we have to match is Zenny, and we put out the call for fan suggestions. That one Wilder guy suggested Chester J. Lampwick, who we have already used.
Aww.
Friend of the show, champion of fan suggestions, suggested Herbert Powell, Homer's half brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know if I feel like Herbert Powell is a good fit here.
No, it doesn't really feel like the energy you want.
Mm-hmm. So I've got 3. Up first, I've got my Rodrigo style. Rodrigo style is where we use characters who were introduced in the contemporary Simpsons episodes that came out at the same time as these. Sometimes it's very easy to do. Sometimes it is literally impossible because One Piece pretty much does a new episode every week, and Simpsons does not. So my Rodrigo style was George Foreman, just because he kind of fit the best out of what we had. And then I also had Arthur Fortune, who is a rival billionaire to Mr. Burns, but his whole thing is that he does like big stunts with his money. Just as an old guy. And then I also just put on Cornelius Chapman, the oldest man in Springfield until he ends up dying because of Britney Spears.
Understandable.
Janine, who do you have here?
The first one I have is Nedward Flanders Sr., Flanders' dad. Because I kind of get that vibe from this guy. The next one is more look based. It's Albert Einstein. Next, I have Jack Marley, a janitor who's going to be very sad if you fire him.
From the nuclear power plant.
Yes, of course. And then I have down Shelbyville Abe, which is the Abe Simpson counterpart that's in Shelbyville, that at the end of the Shelbyville episodes, telling the children the story of
how we got rid of the cursed lemon tree.
Yes.
I actually had the lemon tree as my suggestion for this character.
Amazing.
First inanimate object suggestion I hope you've ever had on the show.
No, I don't believe so. I'm quickly checking Albert Einstein. Okay, though he appeared in Bart the Genius, so.
Should I give my suggestions?
Yes.
So mine was, I was thinking Hans Moleman. Because he's like old, decrepit, and also Hans used to be the mayor of Springfield. So likewise, he's got an interesting background that you wouldn't expect, despite how decrepit he is. Because I really wanted someone that matched the age range and had a bit of an interesting story to him. I also thought maybe... Sorry, what?
Oh, I mean, he was also formerly host of Mole Man in the Morning.
Oh, see? Another thing he has in common with Zenny.
And your second suggestion?
I kind of was playing around with the idea of Rich Texan, which maybe is too notable a character to burn on a filler character, but he was someone I thought about a little bit, just because he's the right age and he is all about money.
And Han's moment is not like important enough for you.
I mean, I definitely think both of them are a little bit more notable than I would give, but it's also like I did some research and they were just the people that really stood out to me while I was researching, because you can only do so much digging into obscure Simpsons characters.
Fair.
I was actually surprised Hans hasn't been used.
Ooter pile.
Ooter pile, yeah.
Are you saving Rich Texan for Guild from the One Piece Gold movie?
No, I mean, if I was going to pick someone from there's the very short Texas man in that movie who is the one who ends up in the big old jail prison.
I remember that.
This means nothing to me.
It's okay. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, out of the ones that we have on here, I feel like Shelbyville Abe or Arthur Fortune is kind of where I'm leaning towards.
Sure, that sounds good.
I do have another choice. It's a bit out there. It's a bit outlandish. It's a bit unconventional, if you will. Cap'n Crunch.
I'm really liking the Shelbyville Abe.
Yeah, I feel like we have enough of a consensus for Shelbyville Abe.
I want the lemon tree. The lemon tree itself, though, was a strong contender, right?
I do have to say that it's the best inanimate object suggestion that we've had.
What is it? Inanimate carbon rod is probably the most notable inanimate object.
In Rod We Trust.
Are you are you gonna cast like a devil fruit as that?
I mean, there isn't a sentient devil fruit. Yet.
Okay, yet. But you do know that devil fruits are sentient, some of them.
I mean, yes and no. If one of them has enough of a character to be listed as a character on the One Piece wiki, then I can be convinced.
All right, fair enough. But you've heard of that about zone fruits having their own personalities.
Yeah. But I feel at this point we really haven't gotten into the point where they discuss what the different types of devil fruits are beyond like sort of mentioning Zoan types a few times. So Janine, you know how sometimes the devil fruit power just turns people into animal hybrids?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are Zoan types.
All right. That's what made the gun turn into a dog?
Yes. Lasso is such a good boy.
I mean, Lasso's a war criminal and a terrorist.
They didn't explain it in the episode at all how it happened. They just walked right by it.
Science. I mean, science, Janine. We up next have more. Janine, who do you have for more?
Well, I have number one pick, Al Gumble. He runs the bowling alley.
The Barney's Bowlerama is the weird kind of, hey, initially Barney was supposed to run this bowling alley, and then they wrote him into being such a loser that it didn't seem viable.
Remember when he gave up drinking for like 2 seasons?
It was like 3 seasons, and then he slowly fell off the wagon again and again. It kind of sucks.
All right, but we also have the Fox Censor who gets murdered. Because nobody's gonna get murdered here. I had Bleeding Gums Murphy as Igaram, and that guy lived.
He did. That guy's back in Alabasta fucking his wife, who looks like him.
God. Oh, you should have had him played as Milhouse's parents then.
But neither of them are musical.
Fair enough. Well, no, Millhouse's dad did make that musical tape. Can I borrow a
Can
feeling?
I borrow a feeling?
God. I stick
Oh my
by what
God.
I said. He also does literally later in a more recent season, I believe, join a band with Homer and some other dads.
Yes.
Who else do you have for more?
I have Colonel Leslie Hoppablap. Just your generic roughneck that's voiced by Arlie Emmy that you have inside of anything ever.
Yeah, he's going to tear you up like a tissue at a snot convention or something like that.
And my curveball, I'll
Ooh.
save for later.
Oh my.
All right, well, Davey, who are you rocking with?
So I had 3 for this. This is from more, yeah.
Yes.
My first one was, I'm going more obscure, so I think you'll be glad. The Prime Minister of Australia, Raphael, and then the one I felt really good about was Harlan Dondelfinger or Dondelinger. So hopefully those weren't on your list.
I believe we've brought up the Prime Minister of Australia.
Really?
Yeah, of Australia before. I don't believe he got used though. And Dondelinger is Homer's old principal from high school. Let me double check because I.
That's a good one.
Thank you. I was very proud of myself for that one.
Okay, no, we have not used the Prime Minister of Australia.
What a shock.
You know, you'd be surprised. So the 3 that I have, starting with my Rodrigo style, are Uncle Slam. But then I also have Ernest Borgnine and Five-Ush Finkel, who played Krusty in the movie based on Krusty's life when he got busted.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to use real guest stars for some of these roles.
So what do you two think?
You said you have a curveball, Janine?
I do,
yeah?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Could we go ahead and run through Menchie so I could be able to have the big prestige reveal and we could be able
Oh,
to
you must be
decide?
really feeling good about your last idea then.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm excited to see what you have. So we will table more for now. Davey, who you have for Minchie? Who's all up in your Minchies?
So I originally had Freddie Quimby on, which I think would have been a good call if he wasn't used.
Yeah.
So I thought, who's someone that's not very important because it's a filler character, but has these kind of snaky traits. So I thought of MacArthur Parker, Lionel Hutz's agent. I thought really kind of fits the mood and has the obscurity level where you don't feel like you're wasting him.
And he's voiced by Jeff Goldblum.
Well, then even better.
Also, just a wild reference to MacArthur Park. It's frightening in the dark. All the dinosaurs are running wild.
How about you, Luke?
Was that the only one that you had?
Yes, just because Freddie Quimby, I realized at the last second Freddie Quimby had been used.
So my Rodrigo style is Frank Grimes Jr., just the closest one that we could have fitting. The other 2 that I had are also trying to burn off celebrity guest stars. I have 2 people revolting and awful as people in different ways. Andy Dick.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah. Andy Dick is an asshole. That's true.
Oh, wow.
I feel like Andy Dick is my strong one here. Janine, who do you have?
Wow, I'm not going to be able to beat Andy Dick.
You don't want to beat Andy Dick?
No, I'm not going to go there. But let's humor my ideas and start going through my list. My number 1 was Shelby of Shelbyville, the Shelbyville Spart. Then I had Jim Hope. He's the guy that ends up using surveillance equipment on like the children's school so they could be able to like get research data for making toys.
Oh yeah, from Grift of the Magi.
Yeah, that's the one. Howard, which is the kid with sunglasses that teaches Homer how to beat up Bart in video games.
Mm-hmm.
And my last one, because the vibes were just too strong for me not to mention it, is Gabbo, Gabbo, Gabbo.
Ah.
Making my more Arthur Crandall.
Mm-hmm.
See, separate. I can probably get Uterpile together with how these two interact. Maybe there's something I can convince you.
So that's
Gabbo.
assuming that One Piece doesn't have a puppet.
You fucking.
Oh, does he not know about the puppet?
Oh my god.
I mean, there's an entire nation of puppets, Janine.
You might as well just tell me that because like that it's in the realm of possibility now.
It's not just a metaphor, Janine.
He's not wrong.
There's something about you agreeing that's just even much more torturing, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Torturing.
Yeah. The fact that Davey is not actively calling me a liar and is either going along with the bit where I am telling the truth.
You'll find out, I guess.
Mhm.
Like 600
Wow.
episodes of this show.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, you're
because
gonna
of this
have a
show.
great
We're
time.
all going to die.
I'm actually surprised you're covering the filler when you have so much canon material to cover.
Because this is Janine's first time exploring the show. And did you have fun on Goat Island, Janine?
Oh, is this because I like the last filler arc that you're doing this now?
No, I like Goat Island. I think Goat Island is fun.
I think for by filler standards, there's much worse.
Okay, I'll appreciate Goat Island for what it is, I guess, but I do it with suspicion.
How many of the other arcs have
Goats in it.
Yeah, and a guy skating on an abacus.
That is true. That was a great scene.
And Minchi.
So, did we decide though ultimately what characters we're mapping everyone to?
No, we still need to figure out Minchi and more. For Minchi, I'm still sticking with Andy Dick.
I'm fine with that.
Janine, can you consent to Andy Dick being
No,
a
nobody
shitty filler
can.
man?
I guess we can say that. If there's any place we could put Andy Dick, it might as well be in filler nonsense.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, and then for more, that's where we go back to.
I felt really good about my pick
of Harlan Dundlinger.
Yeah, I feel that's like he's not really a character that important. I think he really matches kind of the tone and personality of the character.
He encompasses the vibe so much. I
You know
second
what?
it.
I will acquiesce to y'all when we come across a principal or a high school principal in One Piece. I can say, Davey, you've cursed us all.
My apologies.
All right. Well, then our list that we have, with 1 point to each of us, is our Zenny is Shelbyville Abe, our Moore is Harlan Dondelinger, and our Minchi is Andy Dick.
I love it.
So, yeah, we have successfully completed our mappings for this episode without many tears, without violence, without losing any limbs so far.
The night's young.
Mm-hmm. So, Davey, where can people find you and other things that you do?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. This is a blast. And you can find me on the Shonen Flop podcast. That is SHONENFLOP. We have an episode every Monday where Jordan, me, my co-host Jordan, and a guest talk about whatever manga. Usually it's terrible we've read that is run in Shonen Jump that you've probably never heard of. Though sometimes we read a good one, right, Luke?
Yeah, Mori King is great, even though Janine does not believe me about the sexy bugs.
Oh, yes. Morking, you got lucky reading one of the best things we ever read.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay, now is Davey fucking with me about this too?
No, Morking's unironically very good.
Yes. Mori King is about the magic of summer and friendship, and also just bo type bullshit. And handsome boys.
Oh,
and lovely
yes.
ladies.
Wait, are you talking about this show or the Morking still?
Mori King.
Oh, but the show too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was on an episode. I had a lot of fun. You also all have a very nice Discord that I'm happy to be a member of.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much for being such an awesome member of the community.
Thank you.
Can you believe the Discord almost has 500 people in it now?
That's wild. And yeah, we should actually have Jordan on our next episode, assuming that nothing horrible goes wrong. Janine, where can you be found?
Primarily right now, my Instagram, Janine is dope. I have not decided what social media I'm going to be going to since I left Twitter, but I still sometimes post on the DohMance Twitter. That's at DohMance.
Yeah. I was just going to see if you had posted something that I hadn't seen yet. And my name is Luke again. You can find me on Twitter at Koltreg. That's KOLTREG until Elon Musk has fully destroyed the company. Like, I don't even think it's going to last long enough to become a hotbed of conservative ideals. I think he's just going to be shuttering the thing, which is horrifying and fascinating. You can find my portfolio site at lukeher, LUKEHERR.com. And a bunch of the comics that I've written are on my Gumroad at Koltreg.gumroad.com. And also, shout out to Mike Patton, who you can find at @PattonPending or at Patton_pending on Instagram for doing our current covers. Mike has been doing a great job. Also, hopefully by the time that this episode goes up, we will have our banner image that has been in progress for a while, but he has been busy with work. You should go and hire him to do good things, especially if you're like, if you want to get a picture of yourself Simpsonized as like a wedding gift or whatever, hire Mike to do it instead of the people who charge like $200 for something that looks like shit and does not understand the Simpsons aesthetic at all. Because Christ. One of the Simpsons Facebook groups that I'm in, someone posted their gift and it was like, I should be a good steward of online people and not say how bad this is. But back when I was looking to hire a person for the role that Mike was in now, I had two people who did that sort of work reach out and is like, we want twice as much as you pay Mike to do these covers to do something, and we actually don't understand what you're looking for. Mike's covers are amazing. Also, over on the official One Piece Reddit, I put in a post of like the first 20 covers, and it has been doing great. And
oh, awesome.
Yeah, if you have started listening to the show from this episode, welcome aboard. And yeah, DohMance Dawn, we update every 2 weeks. We don't have a consistent date because we are a complicated machine and the holidays are coming up and Mike is busy. And also sometimes I forget that we need to edit a podcast. But, look out, follow the Twitter, and follow our Tumblr at DohManceDawn.com. Next time, we continue our winter holiday specials as we finally go into the rainbow mists. We'll see you then. Safe sailing.
Thank you.